everybody, I'm going to show you today how to use watercolor pencils to paint the background of your city and make a really fantastic sky. But I want to begin by just talking a little bit about what you can do with your windows in your buildings to make them a little bit more different and just increase the variety. You can see on my finished one, and Mr. Teal, if you can get a little bit closer, you can see that I used some gray marker to tone some of the areas in my building so that they're not just all plain white. This adds variety and contrast, which makes this city look a lot more real and just interesting. So we've got two sizes of gray Crayola markers that you can use, and of course you can also use your Sharpies to add this value to it. So for example, if I have a series of windows that are all just, basic horizontal lines, maybe what I could do if they're thick windows is take my thick gray marker and I could just color every other one in. This would make a pattern of dark then light. Of course, you could do this with black too, but why not have one building have black and white and the other have gray and white, or gray and black? Other things you could do is use the thin markers to add some lines or patterns. So I'm going to just do hatching. Hatching is a series of parallel lines, and I'm doing that here with the thin gray marker. Okay, you can see how this here looks a lot more interesting than this below. Okay, you can do the same thing with black too. I could maybe on this small building here, I just might want to do cross hatching, which is another inking technique. So I did lines vertical and then horizontal to create that texture. Sometimes you might just want to color the whole area in. So maybe here on this building, I'm just going to fill in the whole inside area with my gray with just smooth strokes. Now I do want to warn you that these gray markers are washable. So that means that when you're painting, you're going to have to be really careful that you don't get them wet because they will smear. The Sharpies are waterproof. They will not smear at all because they're permanent. Okay, so there you have it. So I really hope to see you using your markers to add more variety to your buildings today, as well as coloring. All right, let's talk about coloring now. So you can make your sky any colors that you want, but I want to see you mixing and layering colors. I want blending. So when you take your watercolor pencil bag, you're going to see all these different colors inside of it. You should be pulling out at least 4 or 5 colors of pencils to use. And you want to think about how colors mix. Look at the color wheel. We have 2 of them in our classroom. We have one by the board, we have one around the clock. So look at what colors are next to each other and think about how they're going to look when placed together. This sky that I made has all warm colors, and now I'm going to do one with cool colors. So I'm using blues and greens and purples in this sky. I've never seen a green sky before, but that's okay. I still want to use it anyways. I think it's going to be fun. So when using watercolor pencils, I'd recommend you first make sure that you erase all of the space in your sky. If you have any pencil marks, get them off first. Then you can begin coloring. And you're going to, you can start light, but then build up the color. I'm going to make this kind of tie-dyed. I liked how my first one turned out, so I'm going to have a little area in the middle that's green, and then I'm going to slowly move into blues and purples. And I'm gonna start pressing harder once I'm done layering more color. I'm just gonna do a small area of this for you today. So you can see some blue. Your purple and dark blue look very similar, but one says blue, one says violet, so, read the word to see what color it is. Okay, here's some blue. Look again how I'm layering the color. So I've got the dark blue over the light blue, and now I'm adding some purple. Okay, try to keep your lines going in one direction if you want it to look a little bit neater instead of like scribbly all over the place. That just helps a bit. Okay, I might even choose to grab a tiny bit of yellow and add that in to warm it up in the middle. I think it's going to make more of a lime green, and that might be really cool. Might also grab some pink and just toss that into the purple. So I've used a lot of colors here. Okay, let's see what happens when I add water. This is where the regular pencils start to look different. Okay, so these pencils are special. They're all Crayola watercolor pencils, which is different than regular colored pencils. Regular colored pencils you just color with and it stays, you know, like pencils, but with watercolor pencils you can take a paintbrush with water, there's just water in here, nothing else, and when you use the brush on top of the color becomes like paint. And it actually can spread. I've got a scrap of paper here, look, so I have some green now on my brush from where I was just using this. If I put that color onto like an area that didn't have any color on it already, look, it does come off. So you want to be careful as you're doing this because it does become like paint. Okay, don't overdo it with water. Try to control it and take your time. You can see the colors are brightening up. I can really blend well with these. So I'm bringing some of the blue into the green and into the purple. And look, I'm being just very careful around my buildings. Okay, and you know, you're going to have all of today's class and you're going to have time next class to work on this. So take your time. When you're completely finished with painting, you're going to want to let it dry on the drying rack. So let's say, you know, pretend like I'm done. I'm done with just with this part, but you know, pretend like I'm done. I could put this on the drying rack, and then, since we have the holidays coming up, what I want you to do, if you have extra time, is create a card using watercolor paper. So I've already got this one ready to show you, but I just want to demonstrate one more technique you can use with these watercolor pencils, and that is to outline and then drag the color inside. So I'm going to take some red and outline this bulb that I've made here. And then I'm going to bring some of that red into the center of my bulb. And you'll see it's very easy to do this. So I'd encourage you to take your time and create a nice card. This could pair really well with your bowl if you are going to give your ceramic bowl as a gift. Okay, so I get a little bit of water on my paintbrush, and I'm just going to first put the paintbrush with water on top of that line and just kind of get that wet. And I'm going to pull the color inside, and you can see it's dragging the color wherever the paintbrush goes. All right, and there you have it. I hope you enjoy your time today with watercolor pencils.